Hello everyone, and welcome back to Spa-Francorchamps here for our Ferrari Challenge round 7. And we have our Coppa Shell drivers about to take to the track for their second race of the weekend here in Belgium. It is the last but one weekend of Ferrari Challenge for 2025 here at Spa-Francorchamps as the cars making their way to the grid right now as we speak. Let's give you our formal and official introduction and welcome to Spa. And there it is. And what a place this is. Extraordinary, and it has formed part of what has been a magnificent 2025 calendar. We kicked it all off in March in Monza. Then it was Misano, Hockenheim, Brno, Valencia, Barcelona here in Spa then. And then the Finale Mondiale event and the final round of our calendar for 2025 is in Tuscany, in Mugello. And very much looking forward to that in about 5 or 6 weeks' time. I need to do the calculation to ascertain exactly when it is. The weather conditions today have been somewhat different to those that we've enjoyed in the test days and the qualifying days. So Manu Gosner is going from P1 on the grid, and she is there standing by for Anico Ripata Corsa Ram. And yeah, as I say, the weather conditions are somewhat different to what we've had for the rest of the days here at Spa. In fact, the weather has been very un-Spa-like, if I may be so bold. There you can see the 171 car that is driven by Cristiano Marchel for FBO Motorsports. And Cristiano going from P6. Good qualifying, friend. I spoke to him earlier on today. And he's certainly enjoying his time here at Spa-Francorchamps. And there, the 1-2-1 car of Oscar Rinčević, who has had a brace of good results in the Ferrari Challenge. A win and a couple of second places in the last 3 races, Barcelona, and of course here at Spa-Francorchamps, where he took P2 just yesterday. And we're looking at the back end of the Eric Marston car. Eric Marston is one of our Ferrari Challenge North America drivers, and indeed a Coppa Shell champion previously from North America. Great to have him here this weekend, along with Jan Bernier as well, and Ray Acosta and also James Wyland, who, it has to be said, spend probably more time in Europe than Eric and Jan do, racing in the Challenge, doing dual campaigns across North America and Europe as well. So there, Rui is talking to his driver, Cristiano Marchel. Right, let's take a look at what happened in race 1 yesterday here at Spa-Francorchamps. Well, let's take a look at the highlights of our Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell race 1 as the drivers are off then. The lights went out and blistering start from John Dillon, who puts it alongside Manuel Gosner, his arch nemesis in the championship, and through the La Source turn 1 they go. And good momentum for a number of the drivers. John Dillon able to put himself into P3. Christian Kinch getting ahead of Manuel Gosner, and James Wyland and Ray Acosta side by side as they ran down towards the start of Eau Rouge, climbing uphill. Oscar Rinčević and Ernst Kirchmayr breaking away. Christian Kinch and Cristiano Marchel deciding to have a little bit of a love tap between themselves. Cristiano Marchel able to stay ahead of the Christian Kinch car. Now, Thomas Gosner, he just lost the back end of the car, and in avoidance, Michael Martin absolutely into the fence. That brought out the safety car, and when we got back to racing once again, well, Ernst Kirchmayr was able to get by Oscar Rinčević. John Dillon was catching the both of them. And then side by side, Ernst Kirchmayr and Oscar Rinčević, as Rinčević was determined to get back out in front. What they were unaware of is the fact that the track limits warnings were beginning to have an impact, and penalties would be applied to the drivers that were running P1 and P2. Tibor Valent and von Skeltermar, and Tibor Valent with a textbook overtake through the chicane. And Thomas Gosner and Robin Mays. Thomas Gosner getting by the yellow and black car of Robin Mays. So to the checkered flag, and on track it would be Oscar Rinčević and Ernst Kirchmayr, but it would be this car, John Dillon, that actually, after post-race penalties, would be the race winner. The delight inside the garage of John Dillon was clear for all to see. Well done, John Dillon. So there we have all the assembled glitterati on the grid, beginning to make their way off the grid now ahead of the start of the race. There's Jan Bernier, and Jan Bernier, who is racing with Rosso Corsa here in Europe, but he's part of the Scuderia 1999 team, and Ferrari of Seattle back in North America. And hi to all my friends there. Is there a car missing on the grid there, Nico? Is that the Michael Martin car, of course? Just as we were looking at which car was missing from the grid, there was just some of the activities that take part as part of Ferrari racing days. Because this weekend here at Spa-Francorchamps has been a racing days, which means some of those phenomenal cars that take part in activities over the course of the weekend. This is von Skeltermar, the Kessel racing driver, who goes from P11 on the grid, the 177 car. So I was mentioning a load of drivers that are racing from North America, also in the European season and series. And one of those that is a regular competitor in Europe is none other than the car of 118, Mr. James Wyland. And he's at Spa-Francorchamps as well.
It's really nice to be here. I've been racing in the series for 6 or 7 years now. I think it's amazing to come over here with the Ferrari community and race these tracks. And this weekend, Spa, you know, it's the best. It's very, very good. There's many circuits that I've been to that I really, really like, but Spa is right at the top, for sure. I really like racing over here. The drivers in my class are very good drivers, but I think they're very fair and they race the right way. And the whole community, whether it be the hospitality or whatever, it's fantastic for me and my family. So yeah, we really enjoy everything about the event. It's very nice. It's very fast. It doesn't really feel as fast as it is. It's sometimes 4 or 5 seconds a lap quicker than the 488 was, which, you know, we all thought was quite fast. It's very smooth. It's very nice to drive. It feels very racy. It's a lot of fun.
James Wyland, who really is a super driver and a super guy as well. Always very helpful to us in the media, that's for sure. Always ready when a microphone is stuffed up his bugle just when he probably doesn't want it. Nico Spalek alongside me. I think you'd agree with that, wouldn't you?
I would have worded it a little differently, possibly, but yeah, welcome everybody here. Final race here in Spa for this season. And there is the start jingle, and we're about 5 seconds away, and actually a little bit of a jump start by the safety car.
The Richard Mills safety car then will lead the Coppa Shell cars away then. 30 minutes plus 1 lap is the race duration. You're welcome everybody to Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell here at Spa-Francorchamps. We'll bring you the grid in full from back to front in just a moment. And yeah, the runners and the riders in this 17-strong grid of cars making their way down to the Eau Rouge area right now. You can see the paddock from our drone shot. The paddock is so big we've had to use both the Formula One paddock and the endurance paddock as well to accommodate all the cars and all the drivers and all the paraphernalia that forms part of Ferrari Racing Days, highlights of which you have just seen. Eric Marston goes from P17 on the grid. Then it's Stefano Inama and Corinna Gostner. They are on the 8th row, P16 and 15 respectively for those drivers. Robin Mays and we think Michael Martin probably missing from the grid. They're on row 7. And then it's Tibor Valint and von Skeltemar, P12 and P11 for those 2 drivers occupying row 6. Great qualifying from Jan Bernier and Ray Acosta, P10 and P9. James Wyland and John Dillon, yesterday's race winner, they are P8 and P7. Cristiano Marchel and Thomas Gostner are on row 3, and going from P4 it's Christian Kinch and Ernst Kirchmeier. That means the front row contains Oskar Rinčević and Manuela Gostner, which means it's a very, very lively front row of the grid. The starting grid brought to you in association with Valle, as we're on board with the Richard Mille safety car then as it's running downhill on this roller coaster. Let's hear from our pole sitter, and that is Manuela Gostner. We'll hear from her now.
Hi guys, so happy to be in pole position in qualifying 2 here in Spa. It's the most challenging track we have this year in the calendar, and it makes me super proud to be in the first position. I did the 4th position in the first qualifying. I catch some traffic, so I could not be more in the top, but I'm very proud about my team, RAM Reparto Costeran, Ineco Reparto Costeran. We have double position, pole position of Felix, we have my pole position, so I can't wait for the race. There will be 1 dry race, 1 wet race, and I can't wait. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Manuela. Weaving from side to side, we can see right now as she's trying to generate some temperature into the tyres, Nico, which is more difficult because it's colder. It's 13 degrees, I think, as I wandered back from hospitality. And of course, there's been some rain overnight. That's, you can see the track is bone dry now. But if you go offline, I suspect it isn't probably. There is Christian Kinch weaving from side to side. So yes, temperature generation going to be more difficult today.
For sure, for sure. And the forecast was that it would be even wetter today. It hasn't materialized, or it has subsided. As you can see, but in the forefront, there is still some wet patch. John Dillon, as you said, won the race yesterday. Didn't finish the race in P1 on the track, but track limits played a part. You also started yesterday's race from P7. A good omen? Well, we're about 30 minutes and a lap away from finding out.
Yeah, that's a very fair point you made. Let's see. Yes, track limits did play a part yesterday, and there the Richard Mills safety car then. It will stack the cars up. Basically, they'll go side by side in grid formation. The Richard Mills safety car will peel off, and it will be the responsibility of Manu Gostner and Oskar Rinčević to control the pace of the rolling start. I had a good conversation with Oskar Rinčević just as we were leaving the circuit last night. And he's a great fun guy and a great racing driver as well, who has had a phenomenal season when you consider he's missed some of the events, but in his Drivers' Championship points, he's doing all right. So, yes, there the Richard Mills safety car peels off then. Manu Gostner and Oskar Rinčević will control the pace through the bus stop chicane. We'll throw the lighting gantry to the top of the screen. And when the lights are extinguished, we will go racing. Hold on to your hats. Lights go out, let's go racing. Good start from Ernst Kirchmeier, in my opinion. Good start, too, from John Dillon, almost to the inside of Thomas Gosner. Through La Source, the cars go. Ray Acosta looking lively, too, and so, too, Cristiano Marchel and Christian Kinch in all sorts of strife. He's turned around. Good avoidance by nearly every other car, but Christian Kinch cannot do anything but... the car is in the wall, and I think that's Ray Acosta to the right-hand side, Nico. I didn't really see that unfold. Did you get a measure of that? What happened? Because inevitably that is going to be a safety car.
For sure. There was a little bit of a touch. It wasn't anything significant, but it just rotated the car. Safety car has been called for. So from this point onwards, no overtaking. So we can take a first breath and try with some replays in but a few moments to sort it. But for Christian Kinch, at good pace yesterday, but nothing doing today.
And you can see that he's talking on the radio. He is perfectly okay. I want to reassure that because the integral safety of the 296 Challenge cars is unquestioned. And Christian is perfectly okay. And it's just really, really unfortunate that his race has been brought to an end so early on, not one lap completed. Yeah, a number of drivers making good right at the start of the race, but going into La Source, which is turn number 1, is always tricky because it is a funnel. There is the Ray Acosta car. So Ray Acosta is out, unfortunately. I was talking to his driver coach, Marco Bononomi, and there's Ray out of the car. He's perfectly okay as well. He races both here in North America. Let's see it in replay, Nico, and let's see if we can pick the bones out of this. You're pretty good at analysing how things happen. So Kirchmeier, he went from one side to the other, didn't he? John Dillon was on the inside of Ray Acosta, I think, going into the turn. So it's Cristiano Marchel and, well...
It's actually John Dillon who was part of that squeeze, and you know, each of the drivers within their right to have the track position, but for, I think it was Ray Acosta in the middle, there was a car from the left, a car from the right, just ran out of room there.
We're on board with Christian Kinch now, and there you can see kind of nothing he could do about that. There's Rui. And he is a driver coach. He could see it all unfold. So safety car is called for. And that means the clock continues to tick down. Now the cars are going to have to follow the safety car through the pit lane. You can see that in graphics now. And that is because at La Source, in turn number 1, is where all the damage is and where all the debris is. And they want to be clearing that up. And you can't put the marshals out there with the cars coming through, even behind the safety car.
Well, in any event, there is a nice bypass to that part, so any debris and small parts that could pierce the Pirelli P0 tires, always a danger, but no such problem if they pass through pit lane, and I mean, they're not doing any quick laps anyway, so just a sensible decision by race control, and that will allow, as you say, a quicker recovery and clean up off the track, and hopefully that means we will be able to have not too many laps behind the safety car. Unfortunate race start. We had really, really clean starts thus far this weekend, especially yesterday, but also today. And this was just one where it's tough to really fault anybody.
Everyone is super enthused right at the start of the race, isn't there? And Ife'e, who was with us on air just a little while ago, the Le Mans race-winning driver, along with his teammates in the hypercar, he said 2 through turn 1 goes, 1.5 does not. And he's right. You know, it is a funnel, it is a pinch point, and unfortunately, Ray Acosta and Christian Kinch certainly feeling the impact and effects of what can happen going through turn 1, Nico.
For sure, and now, obviously, Christian Kinch was worse for wear, or rather his car was, after that incident. John Dillon, remember, was race winner yesterday. He's still in the fight for the championship, battling primarily with Manuel Agosto, we just saw on screen. So for him, it will be, well, he will hope and he will listen to the car. Has he sustained any significant damage in that, rather than only superficial to the bodywork? Because he really needs to maximize his points haul if he wants to have a realistic fighter's chance going into the final 2 races in Mugello.
Incident in turn 1 is being noted by race control. What does that mean? Well, basically it means that it has been noted, and at the moment, and there is confirmation of that, that basically means that yeah, they are aware of it, and no one better than race control to decide, Nico, in terms of, was it just a racing incident? Was someone at fault? Was someone not at fault? It has been noted.
Indeed, and should there be any consequence, generally it's something, if it happens during the race, that will be announced once the safety car is in, because that means only then and only then can any penalties be taken.
What's the I mean, you may not know the answer to this, and we might need to look at the sporting regulations. What's the difference between something that's being noted and investigated?
Yeah, right. It's a good question, actually.
What the ramifications are, you know, if something is noted, does that mean it is being investigated, or when, you know, because we do sometimes see the note, don't we, that incident in turn 1 is being investigated, as opposed to being noted, which it has been, insofar as we can tell from race control at the moment.
Yeah,
Yes,
I believe by intuition we can kind of understand the difference, but the clear-cut dividing line between the two,
not so
clear-cut actually. Anyway, not for us. We still have no indication that the safety car is going to come in at the end of this lap. It would have been very quick recovery of all the small parts there. I rather think it's going to be one more lap, but we've been surprised in the past, so hopefully can be quicker, but they're just approaching the second timing line, and from there on out it would be at least one more lap.
Yes. 7.004 kilometers means that a safety car lap is a long lap, Nico, of course. And if it's not at race speed. Now, inevitably, when the safety car is going to come in and when race control decide that that is safe to do so, then the Richard Mille safety car will indeed increase its pace and bring the drivers back up to a decent pace. But yes, at the moment, no indication when the safety car is coming in. We're live from Spa-Francorchamps. It's our Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell Race 2. The race duration is 30 minutes plus 1 lap. We are behind the safety car following a turn 1 incident, which regrettably has taken out Christian Kinch and Ray Acosta. Those two drivers will not be taking any further part in the race, sadly. The car's going through the bus stop chicane now, and the Richard Mille safety car will cross the entrance to the pit lane and bring the cars once again through the pit lanes, just so that the work that's going on around turn number 1 can continue with no interruption from our cars from the Coppa Shell class of Ferrari Challenge. Be interesting if our drone stays up there just to see what the state of the repairs at turn 1 is, because we would then be able to ascertain how long we're going to be behind the safety car. I rather tend to think that I agree with you, Nico, in that probably this lap will be the last lap behind the safety car once this is underway. Hopefully so, and then we can go to racing, and it's going to be 19, 18 minutes probably, even if the safety car does come in at the end of this lap, and thus far we have no indication of that being the case. Two American drivers there you could see. They are James Wyland and Eric Marston. So it's just quite tight left-hander, Nico, to go into the endurance pit lane, which is where the cars are going now. And let's see, with that shot, can we see? No, can't see anything there. So perhaps the recovery is going very, very well. So this is 2025. What can we look forward to in 2026? Well, here's a bit of a taster.
We are racing drivers, not by chance, but by calling. We chase each other at the edge of control, battling to crown the one and only champion. Rivals in speed, brothers in spirit. A new season approaches, and there's an inkling of the excitement to come. By the seaside, over the rolling Apennines to the foot of the Alps, we will race along roads driven for 100 years, reach the ocean, and behold the city divided by a vast blue river. This is the path set before us. Every turn, every straight will carry us through this journey. Ferrari Challenge, Trofeo Pirelli Europe, season 2026.
Right, as the cars increase in speed, I'm tempted to say that any competition I want to enter, I'm going to get Nico to sort the numbers out for me, because he's absolutely right. Safety cars coming in this lap. Well done you, friend. Good prediction.
Well, thank you. Going to be lucky every now and then. Great calendar for 2026. Already looking forward. Between then and now, there is a world final event with the final 2 races for Coppa Shell, as well as the final world final race. A title to be gained in just one race, and that's an exciting one in itself. But that is next month, and now the focus is going to resume on the outcome of this race. Manuela Goslar can take a huge leap towards winning the championship. She can't decide it in this race, but it would be massive if she could win that. But it's going to be maybe 17 and a half minutes plus a lap when we go back green.
So the cars are running through turn 12 and 13 right now, and of course when they head through turn 14, Stabilo, then that winding left-hander that contains turns 16 and 17 as they head towards the bus stop. That's where they will be going next. And yeah, I tend to agree with you. It's going to be like 17 and a half, maybe 17 minutes of race time left when the safety car does come in. And it will be the responsibility of Manu Goslar then for the restart. She will determine the pace of the rolling start and when the cars are going to absolutely go for it, because the safety car will have disappeared right now as it's the first of these left-handers, which is turn 16, then turn 17, and then, of course, the indicate right to head into the bus stop chicane. Stand by. We are about to go racing once again. She's backing them up, Nico.
Yeah, but she did it late. Sometimes we see the safety car way up the road. Manu Goslar kept quite a little bit of pace, so going to be interesting when she really gets going. And I think she has done it into the apex, and now she's full throttle on the outside here. And good anticipation by our top 3. A little bit of gap to Thomas Goslar.
Right, here we go then. Manu Goslar, Oscar Rinčević already taking a look at the inside line. He wasn't quite close enough. Ernst Kirchmeier always lively. And Jan Bernier putting it to the inside of Cristiano Marchel. It was a bold and audacious move, and it's caused the door mirror to go for a Burton on Cristiano Marchel's car. But fair play, Jan Bernier moved up a place. He will be up to P5 right now as Manu Goslar and Oscar Rinčević taking a very wide line there on the exit. As they're onto the Kemmel straight right now. Jan Bernier got the bit between his teeth, flashing his lights at Thomas Goslar car ahead of him. It's Manuela Goslar from Oscar Rinčević and Ernst Kirchmeier. And here they come, and here comes Tibor Valin late. He's going to be king of the late breakers here, but he gets the car rotated through the chicane, and that's almost a duplicate copy of what he did on Fons Skeltermar in the race yesterday, Nico.
100%. I was thinking exactly the same thing. Oh, and Thomas Goslar with a tough defensive move, and Jan Bernier just able to pull out of there.
And Cristiano Marchel is having a go at Jan Bernier coming back. Jan Bernier is right in the middle of this pack. Thomas Goslar, who's running P4, Jan Bernier P5. Then it is Cristiano Marchel. John Dillon, yesterday's race winner, wants to be part of this four-way party as well for the P4 position. But for now, as they roller coast their way downhill, here they are, and Jan Bernier running oh so wide. He gets a bit of a slingshot, but tucks in behind the Thomas Goslar car. And if he'd have made a move to overtake, having used the extra momentum, that would have probably been penalised for going off track and gaining the advantage. So he was wise to that and ducked back in. Cristiano Marchel under pressure now from yesterday's race winner John Dillon. P4 with Thomas Goslar. P5 is Jan Bernier. Let's get a look right now as here they come then around this very, very fast part of the circuit before heavy, heavy braking when they get to the chicane in just a turn or two's time. But of course that chicane does afford the opportunity potentially for an overtake. Is Oscar Rinčević going to have a go? He looks at the inside of Manu Goslar. She closes the door. I think there is contact between the two of them. Well, I think, to be fair, Oscar Rinčević kind of bailed out of that, Nico, to allow Manu Gostner to hold that place, because I think it would have been deemed perhaps an illegal overtake with the help of a little bit of physicality. And Oscar's a firm but very, very fair driver. And now he gets to the inside, but the optimum line is the line that Manu Gostner is on. And can I just say, rubbing his hands with invisible soap behind both of them is Ernst Kirchmayr, who, like a viper, will be ready to pounce the moment these two really get together here.
For sure, good, fair, tough fighting between the two of them, but very respectful, and traded paint a little bit on the liveries, but all good and in good spirit. And Oscar Rinčević, it looks like he's a little bit quicker, but Manuela Gostner and the team have set up the car perfectly, and she positions it right where Oscar Rinčević can't make a move at the end of the camel straight, and so he has to regroup and try again. And all the time, as you said, Ernst Kirchmayr is not far behind.
No, it'll be interesting to have a look at the live championship predictor when we get it, because Oscar Rinčević and Manu Gostner are certainly both in the points hall. Manuela Gostner leading the points at the moment. John Dillon's also in the points hall as well. He is currently running P7, so he would prefer to be further up the order than he is. But Manu Gostner P1, Oscar Rinčević P2, and then it is Ernst Kirchmayr who is P3 currently. 13 and 3/4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining in this Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell Race 2, which was punctuated by a safety car right on the opening lap for an instant going through turn 1. Oscar Rinčević then 2.5 tenths down on Manu Gostner, and then that make that 5-way party that's going on for P4, which contains Thomas Gostner, Jan Bernier, Cristiano Marchel, John Dillon, and I think Tibor Valint has found an invitation to it as well now. In replay, this is where Oscar Rinčević and Manu Gostner got so close together. There was a little touch between the two of them. That may have just impacted the rear end plate on Manu's car. Now, I don't think that's going to impact her performance. But here comes Oscar Rinčević again. He's taken a look at the inside, perhaps trying to sell Manu just a little bit of a dummy. He's not as close as he has been. And then he got to the inside. And all the time, Ernst is just sitting there waiting, ready to pounce to see his prey ahead of him.
Yeah, and for Ernst Kirchmayr, I mean, the Spa circuit layout is famous, obviously. Actually, we've seen time and time again how drivers actually set up an overtake at the end of the camel straight already on the start-finish straight. Because if you can stay in the slipstream, especially if it's 2 cars ahead of you, that aggregate slipstream, or wind shadow, as we've been taught, can really propel you forward. And he's not quite close enough, I believe, but he's not that far behind either. So it's going to be interesting if he can find that extra momentum from the draft of the 2 cars ahead of him.
Well, here they come, and Thomas Gostner has broken away a little bit from Jan Bernier, but into the chicane. Ever aggregate advantage they were trying to find from the slipstream wasn't there to be taken advantage of, but the driver in P3, Nico Kirchmayr, he is the one that set the fastest lap. He's quicker than those 2 cars ahead of him. Incidentally, a number of drivers have got a number of track limits warnings.
Yeah, the first few ones are up to 2 track limit warnings. 2 is okay. 3 is when you're on the threshold and have to be really, really careful. The 4th one will bring a 5-second penalty. We will keep you updated. The one advantage of a lengthy safety car is that you have less time to do that, and you're safer. So only 11.5 minutes, so we might get away without any penalties being awarded. But you get towards the end of the race, tire degradation comes into play, and you still try to push and make an overtake. It can happen very quickly. Oscar Rinčević has kept his rap sheet clean, and he's trying to put the pressure on Manu Gostner. Nothing doing thus far.
Running the telemetry on the Manu Gostner and Oscar Rinčević car, so you can make the comparison for yourself in graphics here. Both in 6th gear at 250 kilometers per hour, make that 256 kilometers per hour. And now increasing to almost 260. A little dab of the brakes to go through that left-hander. Here comes Oscar Rinčević again to the outside, this time of Manu Gostner. That would give him the inside for the bus stop chicane. This could be job done, and indeed so. He just wiggled the back end of the car. That prevented Manu Gostner being able to come back at him and get underneath that all-black car. So Oscar Rinčević with a great overtake goes through to pick up that P1. Manu Gössner relegated to P2, and Ernst Kirchmeier, he is next in the queue here, but is not able immediately to take advantage. Will he be able to do so going into the chicane?
Well, he certainly tries to stay in the slipstream and does a fairly good job. As we expect the next few drivers to come around that turn. And actually there is Oscar Rinčević. He is, I think, safe at the end of the Camel Straight because he's gapped Manuel Gössner just a little bit. And I think Manu's also got just enough distance towards Ernst Kirchmeier and actually closed up a little bit on Oscar Rinčević once again. Setup at Spa always a big compromise because you've got the long high-speed part at the beginning of the lap, and then you've got the turns with various radiuses where you need more downforce. So we've seen, you know, drivers consistently being quicker one sector or the other.
Yeah, fair point you're making there. And here is Oscar Rinčević with this fantastic overtake again. He was determined, and in fairness, Manu Gössner tried very hard to defend, but watch the wiggle from the back end of Rinčević as he was putting as much power through that back end as he could. And there was no way that Manu was going to be able to come back underneath the all-black number 121 car as he closed the door big time. And now he's increased the margin to just under 4/10 between himself and Manu Gössner. Well, it's even bigger than that right now. So when we next cross a sector line, we will see. John Dillon is just beginning to reel in Jan Bernier now. Jan Bernier running in P6. Jan Bernier has got 1 track limit this morning. John Dillon has got 2. And we've got 8.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. You can see that Dillon over the last 2 laps has been quicker. It's all very well being quicker than the car in front of you. You can find a way by Nico. And at the moment, JD has not been able to find a way past Jan Bernier. Will he do so going into the bus stop chicane? Well, let's pick them all up as they head in there right now. Here they are. And first of all, it's Cristiano Marchel and Thomas Gössner, then Jan Bernier. And Cristiano Marchel not able to get past Thomas Gössner. John Dillon also not able to get past Jan Bernier. But you can see Dillon here taking a completely different line to Jan Bernier, but I don't think he's quite close enough to get underneath Jan Bernier's car going into La Source. But if he can get a really good exit and really good momentum now, I think Marchel is closer to Thomas Gössner as we pick them up. This is the fight that's going on for P4 and P5 as they run past the Fayet speed camera. Up Eau Rouge and heading on to Radion, the Camel Straight then for Ferrari Challenge 2025. Our Coppa Shell drivers here at Spa-Francorchamps. Who is the closest here? It's Martial, is it not, on Thomas Gössner? He dives to the inside, going to be king of the late breakers here. Can he get the car rotated? Can Thomas Gössner come back at him? Side by side they go, and I think Thomas Gössner, and now contact between the two of them. But I think Thomas Gössner was able to come back, and that has allowed Jan Bernier and John Dillon to get closer to these two. And it was a good move by Cristiano Marchel, who did manage to get the car rotated, but Thomas Gössner was coming back at him.
Yeah, Thomas Gössner used all his advantages, wasn't phased, wasn't shocked, didn't panic, and just, you know, did what he had to do, went around the outside, and then Cristiano Marchel tried to turn in. A little bit of a touch, nothing too severe. You can see Oscar Rinčević is slowly building the lead. A little bit of that maybe Ernst Kirchmeier keeping Manuela busy in terms of defending. And there is that battle for second position. Shout out to Jan Bernier, who arguably has much less track knowledge of Spa, and he's really, really holding his own here yesterday as well as today. So shout out to all our North American entries, but Jan Bernier in particular.
Yeah, doing a very, very good job and trying to find a way that he can buy into this fight that's going on between Thomas Gössner and Cristiano Marchel. Ernst Kirchmeier once again a tenth and a bit quicker than Manu Gössner, but as we've said so many times before, it's all very well being quicker than the car in front of you. Find a way by it. That's what you need to do. And Oscar Rinčević quicker than anyone. He's up the road to the tune of 1.87 seconds, Nico, with just under 6 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. It's going to hot up, that's for sure, before the checkered flag flies. And look at that. It's almost a four-way fight now for that P4 position. Although Gössner has broken away a bit from Marchel. Bernier and Dillon, and not so far behind is the car of Tibor Valent.
Yeah, the gaps in this battle are kind of seesawing a little bit. The moment one driver starts fighting with the other, the driver in front of them gets a little bit further away and everybody else bunches back up. Right now, as they come into the all-important Camel Straight, it looks like the gaps are fairly sizable. Don't necessarily see an overtake there. Oscar-Rinčević just put in one fast lap after the other. Is 2:21.901 is the fastest lap of the race, which will give him another point.
That's a very good point that you've made. Yes, the point accumulation. Here is the live championship. 125 points to Manuela Gosner, who would be exactly 26 points ahead of John Dillon. And look where Oscar-Rinčević is now. He's only 3 points behind John Dillon. If everything stays the way it is at the moment, going into the final 2 races of our championship year at the Mugello track for our Finale Mondiale event in about 6 weeks' time.
Yeah, 34 points is the magic number. That's how much you can gain on another driver if you maximize your points haul. Ernst Kirchmeier runs just a little bit wide, hadn't had any track limit infractions, so all clear. There's Thomas Gosner and Cristiano Maciel again with a move. Or is that a replay of the earlier?
Replay.
Yeah, that's the replay of the one that we've already seen. Otherwise, it would be fairly much a carbon copy. And yeah, that's a little bit of a touch. Cristiano Maciel trying to move to the apex, but there was a Thomas Gosner car there and didn't yield.
No, and why would he? 3 3/4 minutes plus a lap. Fastest lap, Oscar-Rinčević, 2:21.901. And here comes the all-black Oscar-Rinčević car, followed by Manu Gosner and Ernst Kirchmeier. P1, P2, P3. Then it remains Thomas Gosner and Cristiano Marchel. So Oscar-Rinčević really throwing the car through that chicane as he crosses the timing line. And the baying pack behind, where their fighters not quite livened up in the way that we expected it to. So here is Jan Bernier and John Dillon. They accelerate away, as indeed does Thomas Gosner and Cristiano Marchel, the 2 drivers ahead. So Dillon running P7. And is quicker than Jan Bernier, but again, that was over the last lap, and again, he's probably not quite close enough to be able to have a go at Jan Bernier, unless he can get much, much closer here on the Camel Straight and dive to the inside to go into the chicane, Nico, but I don't think he's close enough. No, he's not.
Right. John Dillon doesn't quite have the pace that he had in the race yesterday. I mean, still very respectable P7, but he moved up consistently yesterday in the race, was advantaged by some penalties, but also moved 3 or 4 positions on the track, and he hasn't been able to do that. Thomas Gosner, Cristiano Maciel, that looks like something that could still heat up. And again, Oscar-Rinčević with another few tenths quicker than the previous time. He's really feels like he's got this under control. He's not overdriving the car. He's just doing as much as he needs to just build the gap organically.
And as we look at the car, if you look at the right side of the front, it looks like the end plate on the splitter has come awry, probably from some of the affection that he's had for the Manu Gosner car during the course of the race. It doesn't appear to be impacting or affecting the performance of these wonderful 296 Challenge cars, which is great for us because it means the racing continues with some aplomb. So there's von Skeltermaar. We're taking a look at von Skeltermaar ahead of Robin Mays. Then it is Eric Marston and James Wyland, which is great to see. Eric Marston then, like James Wyland, North America racer. And Ernst Kirchmeier now, Nico, for my money, is just champing at the bit a bit more on Manu Gosner. But we are running out of time here. When they cross the timing line now, I would suggest it's going to be that lap plus 1 more.
Indeed, and that's exactly what happens at this moment. Oscar-Rinčević just crosses the timing line with 55, 57 seconds remaining. So it's that 1 plus the 1 lap. Ernst Kirchmeier now is on the very, very close. And to the outside, can he make the switch back? I think Manu Gosner is very wise and very experienced, knows how to use that line. And you know, coming from the outside, just a little bit more momentum, but Ernst Kirchmeier tries to make an unorthodox move.
That was close the door. You're not coming through.
Manu Gosner shortcut that a little bit. But that obviously means that the gap she has towards Ernst Kirchmeier is really reducing the benefit of the slipstream for Ernst Kirchmeier.
Yes, you're right. So Ernst Kirchmeier, who's got the remainder of this lap plus one more to try and take the fight for P2 to Manuel Agostner. Certainly he looked very, very lively coming down from the exit of La Source, but the door was royally closed as Manu Agostner has picked up a first of the track limits warnings for the top three drivers, Nico. No surprise there, to be honest with you, as Ernst Kirchmeier continues to try and pressure, but he's going to have to refocus and do it all over again. And Thomas Agostner, since the earlier coming together almost with Cristiano Marchel, has broken away from this pack of cars, and they're all spaced by a few car lengths between each other, which means that there's not much going on there now for P4, 5, 6 or 7. It is as we were, and Tibor Valent has not been able to get any closer. As von Skelterman now under a bit of pressure from James Wyland. This will be for P12 in the race. Eric Marston sitting behind the both of them as James Wyland taking a look at the inside there. And Eric Marston just a bit quicker than the two cars ahead. So Wyland then P12. And there he is, chasing down von Skelterman. The order on the left-hand side of your screen. Robin Mays. Oh, as James Wyland then out onto the gravel, manages to keep his foot in, but that puts Eric Marston right alongside him, and Eric will have surely more momentum, and indeed does go past James Wyland, just dipping into that gravel, Nico. You've got to be so brave to keep keep your foot on the loud pedal, but James was, and he's a very experienced driver and able to hold on to the car really well. Into the bus stop chicane they come. And Oscar Rinčević, Nico, has started the final lap of this Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell Race 2 of the weekend.
Just over 7 kilometers, one lap here in Spa, and he will probably be almost to the end of the Kemmel Straight, and that means he's only got 2 more sectors to do. It will be a tough ask, as we saw. Manuela Agostner is not quite across the finish line, but she's fairly close in terms of her gap. But Oscar Rinčević will push and push and push to make sure he is there if anything came to grief with Manuela Agostner in Mugello.
2 drivers that are on the final track limits. They are Robin Mays and Joe Dillon. Here comes James Wyland on Eric Marston then, trying to repay the favour. Along the straight here, going into the chicane, Eric Marston with the inside line. James Wyland, king of the late breakers here. If he can get that car rotated, wow, that was awesome from James Wyland, using the slipstream, Nico, and then pulling out the slipstream. The extra speed advantage, you could actually see the front end of the car compressing down as he braked for the chicane, but he was supremely confident in the car, and yeah, good overtake, got that position back again.
Yeah, Ernst Kirchmeier, he still wants to get past Manuel Agostner. He's not in the championship fight by dint of not having done all the rounds, but is there an argument that P3 and P2 are almost the same? No, you're a racing driver. P2 is way better than P3. And Ernst Kirchmeier, certainly, he's a fair racing driver, also very ambitious. He will, if Manuela Agostner gives him an opening into the bus stop chicane, he will go for it. So she has to be on her mettle and not allow any crack in the armor to show to Ernst Kirchmeier. Oscar Rinčević, meanwhile, there's only 3 more turns to do now.
And he's 4 seconds up the road, Nico. He's got remarkable pace in that car. And Oscar Rinčević then down through the gearbox into the bus stop for the final time of asking. It's P2 yesterday. Today it is P1. He takes the race win. Checkered flag falls on the 1-2-1 car of Oscar Rinčević. Manuela Agostner holds on to that P2 despite pressure from Ernst Kirchmeier. And then who's it going to be? Well, it's going to be Thomas Agostner that's going to take P4 ahead of Cristiano Marchel. Then Jan Bernier, John Dillon, then Tibor Valent. Now, Robin Mays, von Skelterman, James Wyland and Eric Marston were having quite a battle. And you can see how delighted Oscar Rinčević is at taking that race win. And yeah, plenty going in and on in that Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell race during the course of the 30 minutes plus 1 lap. I appreciate we had a fairly sizable safety car in it, but just added to something of the drama, Nico, I would suggest.
And that leaves us with just 2 more races to go. If you haven't booked your travel to Mugello, I keep saying it this weekend, but I really mean it. It's only a month. Just come there, enjoy everything that's going on. This is a Racing Days event, and we've seen lots of things already before the race in one of our features. And the World Finals is that on steroids. We will have the Hypercar program there. We will have the announcement of next year's World Final location. It is amazing. If you can somehow make it, the racing action already starts on Thursday, so lots of days to enjoy. For now, we were able to enjoy a very, very nice Coppa Shell race. Unfortunate beginning for the likes of Christian Kitsch, obviously. But from there on out, very, very fair and respectful racing. Good defending too, I have to say. There were so many situations where drivers were getting close, and Spa really is a circuit where you can overtake. But the likes of Jan Bernier, Cristiano Maciel, Thomas Gostner, and Manuel Agostino really, really holding firm, fair their positions.
I agree with you. There's been some very, very good racing across the course of this weekend as we salute the Kessel Racing driver Ernst Kirchmayr for his P3 position in that race. The drivers we'll see on the podium: Oskar Rinčević, Manu Gostner and Ernst Kirchmayr. And there, here comes the official race classification from Race Control. Oskar Rinčević taking the win from Manu Gostner, P2, Ernst Kirchmayr, P3. Then it was Thomas Gostner, Cristiano Maciel, Jan Bernier, John Dillon and Tibor Valint occupying the first 8 places ahead of Robin Mays, von Skelterma, James Wyland, Eric Marston, Stefano Inama, Corinna Gostner, and regrettably we saw retirements from Christian Kinch, Ray Acosta, and Michael Martin did not start the race. What can I say? Except endorse my colleagues' views. If there's any way that you can come to the Finale Mondiale event in Mugello, would urge you to do that. You will not be disappointed. It's like a Ferrari festival with so much in the paddock to enjoy, and Mugello is just such a great circuit to be at because just the way the Mugello circuit winds its way through the Tuscan countryside, you can, from wherever you're standing, you can see lots of the track. It's a great vista and vantage point.
It's a great vantage point. It's a great place, a great corner of the world. And from the driver's perspective, obviously the championship races in Europe and also in North America will be decided there. But then on Sunday there is that one race, the Golden Roof race as you call it, the World Finals, and it's all about that one day. Qualifying Saturday, race on Sunday. If you end that race, you finish it in P1, you are a world champion. And for the likes of Oskar Rinčević, John Dillon, everybody else, John Dillon and Oskar Rinčević still in there with a shout, but even if they can't make that leap, they'll still have one more opportunity to get that title that they yearn. So, you know, double bubble, 2 opportunities to put your name into the record books.
Yeah, and there's plenty of drivers that we know who are eminently entitled, if you like, but have never won the World Championship. Never. One of them has been here this weekend.
Yeah. Plenty of them, but I think you think of Björn Grossman, who will be there for Trofeo Pirelli. And I rather think Manu Gostner also, that title has eluded her for all her success, not only in the Ferrari Challenge, but also other categories. Well, Parc Fermé time for the final round here in Spa.
My mate Mamua there, big fella, with the baseball caps. And the top 3 cars come into Oskar Rinčević's door is being opened right now. And he will jump out of the car. And he has taken the win. And by some 4.2 seconds to the good. That's quite a margin, Nico, quite a margin.
Although I dare say that he would probably have been able to gap the other drivers even more. He seemed so calm and in control. I think Kessel Racing really engineered a magnificent car and he made the most of it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Manu Gostner there being congratulated by her team, Nico Reparto Corsa Ram. And there is Giacomo Altoe, who has been driver coaching Ernst Kirchmayr. And well done to Ernst Kirchmayr. He takes P3. lots of congratulations all around. So those are the drivers that will be heading off to the podium in due course. We will, of course, be hearing from our race winner, hopefully. And Manu Gostner, then conversations going on right now. I'd love to be able to hear some of that stuff. But and that's really nice to see the camaraderie, Nico, in the Ferrari Challenge. I know I harp on about this like a broken record. But actually, the camaraderie in the challenge is, I think it's unique, and it's something very special and valuable.
It is one part that makes this championship and the paddock so absolutely scintillating and fascinating and so welcoming for everybody. And we hear it every time, you know, you have new drivers coming into the championship, and the racing is one part.
No.
Listening. Oh.
It's all in jest.
And I think that's it. You know, if you can do something like that, it just shows that the others will always understand it's in jest, and just a testament. And well, you know, new drivers coming into this paddock, they always harp about the car, how great it is, but also the atmosphere, how welcoming everybody is.
I agree with that. I agree with that. So we will be doubtless hearing from our race winner, the Kessel Racing driver, Oskar Rinjovic, who will be tested doubtless by Ludovica, who will be down there to search and ascertain exactly what Oskar did and found to give himself yet another win and take that 1-2-1 car to victory here at Spa-Francorchamps. Let's hear from him now then. The driver is Oskar Rinjovic, race winner in Spa-Francorchamps.
Oskar, congratulations. You leave Spa in the best way, in the best weekend, with a pole position, fast lap, and one victory. You have a good pace for all the race, and your study, Manu, for a good outcome.
Thank you very much. And yeah, no, it was an absolutely brilliant race. I mean, everyone did so well. Manuela, she did so well in defending. That was really tough, and I think I just managed to see a little gap and took advantage there. But no, that was such a brilliant race, and so well done to everyone. And just thank you so much to the team for giving us such an amazing car.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very humble there. Very humble, Nico. Well done, Oskar. Race 2, Ferrari Challenge, Coppa Shell. Spa-Francorchamps, as the lights went out, let's go racing. As the car headed towards turn number 1, La Source here. It's always a pinch point, it's a bit of a funnel, and inevitably, all of those cars trying to go through turn number 1, just sometimes things don't work out well, and you can see some of the debris being thrown up there, and that meant it was not good news for the likes of Ray Acosta and Christian Kinch. Jan Bernier was able to take advantage, and how Christian Kinch avoided backing into other cars was very, very good driving on his part as he ditched the car into the concrete barriers and wall and tried to avoid other people. Not the end of the race that he would have wanted. Tibor Valint, well, he got past von Skeltermar with a fantastic move off the straight and into the chicane. And this was Oskar Rinjovic, who tried time and time again to cut past Manu Gostner, and on this occasion it didn't work, but on this occasion it would work. To the outside of Manu Gostner, that would give him the inside line through the chicane, and that was enough for him to just be able to close the door on Manu Gostner and say, right, I'm picking up the lead of this race. Cristiano Marchiel and Thomas Gostner are having a fantastic battle, and Thomas Gostner was just not prepared to let go of that position that he had of P4, and Cristiano Marchiel losing out, and James Wyland holding onto the car through the gravel. Eric Marston was able to take advantage and go through, and that meant that he would finish in P12. James Wyland then, always a welcome driver, P11 for him, but for Christian Kinch, of course, it was a bad news day, but for Oskar Rinjovic, it was a brilliant news day as he took the win ahead of Manuela Gostner and Ernst Kirkmeyer. And the congratulations were there. Right, we'll be heading up to the podium next for our Ferrari Challenge Coppa Shell podium.
are ready for the podium shell category.
Shell category, as Michele Mambelli is saying, is the category that is going to be celebrated on the podium. Taking P3, here comes Ernst Kirchmeier from Kessel Racing.
Second driver on the podium, Manuela Gostner.
Here comes Manu Gostner then, the Ineco Reparto Corsa Ram driver takes P2.
Oscar Rincevic.
And Oscar Rincevic on the top step of the
Kessel
podium. Well done,
Racing
Oscar.
on the podium, Team Kessel.
And Kessel will be represented also.
National.
And let's hear the national anthem for Oscar Rincevic. Well, with the XX programs and F1 Clienti cars out on track, sometimes it's difficult to hear the podium, but it is playing. So with the anthem playing out,
The winners and the trophy are presented by
Ife A, who joined us on the air earlier, is on trophy presentation duties. He, of course, a Le Mans 24-hour winner, Ferrari factory driver, and a super young man as well. He is an awesome driver and awesome young man. He's making the presentations. And there is Thomas Gostner, of course, celebrating his daughter Manu, who's in receipt of the P2 trophy. Ernst Kirchmeier has his P3 trophy, and now the P1 trophy goes to Oscar Rincevic.
And the trophy for the team manager, Kessel Racing.
And of course, Kessel are in receipt of their trophy also.
And now, please, Ife on the podium, all drivers, the team manager too. Please, all
So
drivers
everyone
on the
getting
first
together
step of the podium
for the
pictures
photographs.
from Spa-Francorchamps, okay?
Great smiles all round.
Okay. Photos, and now wait a second, drivers. The guest can leave the podium. Okay.
And who is going to be
And
first in the
now
champagne race?
champagne!
Oscar, for sure. Ernst having trouble with the stopper. Great fun. Well done to all our drivers. Kessel Racing P3, Ernst Kirchmeier. P2 for Ineco Reparto Corsa Ram, and that's Manuela Gostner. But on the top step of the race 2 Coppa Shell podium, Oscar Rincevic, race winner with a margin of 4.2 seconds at the end of the race. So the XX Programs cars out there on track right now. Manu Gostner going into the final round, 27 points ahead of John Dillon, who in turn is 2 points ahead of Oscar Rincevic. It is still all to play for in the Coppa Shell Drivers' Championship, with 2 more races to be done, Nico.
Can't wait. That's all I can say. I can't wait. I'm already looking forward to it. Qualifying from Wednesday, race 1 Thursday, race 2 Friday. It's a different schedule, but it's the World Finals, so we do things differently there.
Can't wait another minute. It was a hit song for 4.5 star. And that's exactly how we're feeling about it, because we can't wait for that finale Mondiale event. But for now, here at the circuit Spa-Francorchamps in the Ardennes region of Belgium, we're going to leave you some of the highlight images of what has been a fantastic weekend here. From Nico, from myself, and from a cast of thousands that make it all happen. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye. Live from Spa-Francorchamps.
Mozzafiato il passaggio in salita al rettilineo e poi il rettilineo di Kemmel, che spettacolo!